Hello, welcome back to the RC barn. Hey, we already got a light. Cool. Um, hey guys, we are going to continue on the Wonder build on the wing here. Show you what we got done in the last couple episodes here. So we got all the wing structure built on the top side here. Got everything sheeted. I went ahead and finished cap stripping it off camera. And I got the best of me and lifted it off of the table. I got most of the shear webs in. I have left some of them out, and some you can see some of the holes in there in the spar section there. That excuse me, for pinning when we do the top sheeting. Yes, you do need to flip this over and repin it. So we're going to go ahead and start with removing the tabs at first here. I kind of got you guys a little more elevated this time. Hopefully that helps with the camera view. Hey Tom, how you doing? I'm going to go ahead and start. Some of these are breaking off pretty easily. At least the balsa ones are. Ply ones are probably going to have to cut with the saw. It helps to cut the notches out of them because they come off pretty easily, but the plywood ones, I don't want to create any more damage with the plywood ribs, so yep. So today's goal is to get the structure put inside the wing, get rails made for hatches for the servos, and hopefully we can shoot the bottom of the wing and at least get started on it. Don't know how long I'm going to go today. I'd like to get a lot of this done. I would like to get the fuses started next weekend. Let's see how she does here. There you go. And of course some light sanding to knock the ice spots off. Okay, so we got that knocked down, but we also need to knock down the trailing edge here and put the taper into it. So, yay, more sanding. Hey, how you doing? I made it too. It's been been a couple of months. It seems like busy. Trying to keep up off of the ribs so I don't snag any of them like I just did there. I just want to knock this, and I'm angling my sanding bar here to put some angle in the trailing edge here. There we go. Let's see how that looks. I'm pretty happy with that. It doesn't take much to get a little taper going on there. You can see that. So anyway, this is where planning ahead comes in, and how are we going to attach the wing to the fuselage. Typically we would use some quarter 20 bolts. So you don't want to sandwich that between two sheets of 16th inch, so you got to put some structure in here. So I got a chunk of 1/2 inch by 3 here, and I'm going to put this down in here. I'm not going to make it this long, but kind of line her up here. And if we did our job right, the left and the right side are the same, so we can split this one block in half. And we could use the trailing edge. It's got some pretty good meat in there, but I like to give myself a little bit more. This 1/2 inch sucks to cut on so we got tools, let's use them. There we go. Okay. Fits there just fine. Tape measure. I'm just going to cut this in half. Of course, going with the grains a heck of a lot easier with the hand saw. Yeah, a little wide on that guy. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? There isn't. I don't know why it looks like that on the camera. Got to be a little bit of an optical illusion or something. A little bit more. Probably because I use the straight edge to make the back side of the rib instead of put more of a contour in it. Okay. looks okay there. Oh, hi, Trevor. Welcome. There might be. A little more left. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this other block right on top of it to fill more of the void here. And then we'll sand off the excess here. Oh, any of the 4-stars are cool. Actually going to be doing a revive and fly on an old 4-star 40. I've never had a, but about 25 years ago, I built the 4-star 60. Good flying airplanes, good intermediate low wing trainers, and gets you started in aerobatics. Getting there. Yeah, good engine choice. Good. I think I could use a little bit more there. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the 4-stars and a 4-stroke, you can't go wrong with those. I've never had the ARF versions of it. I'm more of a builder, but gotta save that sawdust. All right, with that one done, then we'll move on to do the same thing on the next one. Marked it with my knife there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hold my saw. Yeah, cool. I got you sitting on a box today instead of on the workbench, so you're elevated a couple of inches. That was Tom's suggestion. Tape measure. Okay, what did I do with my 90? Oh, put it away. There you go. I can chop that in half like I did the other one. Well, when I cut right, I don't have the sand on it. It's going very slowly here. I wonder if my sandpaper is going to get wore out. Wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Have to give me a minute. I'm getting hot. It's cold outside today, but it's warm in here. Almost looks like we're going to have to stand on this trailing edge some more. Okay. Ugh. It is never done, no. Especially when you're trying to make things work for. And I got a little bit of a hill on this one because it's sanding off the edges and not the center. We're kind of going with a cross sanding. If you sand this way, you're not going to take as much off. If you go cross grain like this, you'll take a bunch off at once. So you can, if you go at an angle, it kind of like that. We'll fine tune, but still take a bunch off. And go sideways to kind of flatten things out. And that looks pretty good there. So we got that done. So I think the next part is to I want to make this in the center section into a hatch. So we're going to have to add, I'm not exactly sure where all the electronics are going until, yeah, they dreaded cracking noise. Yeah, when you hit a rib, knock, and yeah, then you chip a rib and then you're gluing things back together. I kind of foresee the receiver, battery, and switch going in the middle here. Like the receiver going up here towards the nose if we need nose weight. I don't think if we put the, that's what I did on the something extra twin. If we put the receiver in here, the switch, and the battery, then it keeps things in a central location because you got two engines hanging off the side here, and the battery's always going to be heavier than the receiver. So, what do? Do you put your battery over here and your receiver over here, and then your weight, your lateral balance is off. So to keep them centrally located, and you can still, the motors on this isn't going to be very far up in front. So even though if we're tail heavy or nose heavy or whatever, we'll have options to put batteries in here. We can always put a couple ounces underneath the tanks if need be, or in the tail. However, it's going to weigh out. We really don't know yet. We don't have enough of it built to start determining CG and weights and all that. So that's the most. And plus, everything will be centrally located. You can bring. We're going to have a throttle servo in each half, and a rudder servo on one half, and a elevator servo on the other half. Is how I'm thinking that's going to go. I don't think I'm going to break this into two rudders and two elevator servos. The rudders are going to be real close to the side of the fuse, so I could run a linkage out the tail and then cross link them like a biplane, and then and then put the elevator servo on the other one, maybe towards the inside, so it's getting, and it'll be a one-piece elevator design because it's only going to be between the two fuse halves. It'll be, it won't be any wider than this. So anyways, if everything's centrally located, we can bring an elevator servo and throttle servo on one side and a rudder servo and throttle servo from the other side right into this hatch. And then being a top wing, it'll come through the bottom here and end. So you could remove the hatch. You could unplug either here or here to remove the wing, which, like I said, is not going to happen very often. What do you guys think? Yes? No? Yeah? So I'll make this a hatch, and then I'm going to make these the airline hatches. So I did grab some spruce. So I'll have to find some more because I don't think I got enough to do all that. But I got a standard servo out, and the standard servo with a 3-inch long airline hatch will be plenty enough to put a standard in. And I'm planning on running like high-tech minis in this. I have not bought them though yet. So we're going to go with 3-inch. And this will be where the plywood plate for the servo mounts goes into. I'm just going to use the first one for a template. You need 4 of these. I guess you can't see me. Sorry. So anyways, I got 4 of those cut. This is where the live stream is going to take a little bit of a change because I need to epoxy these things in. I think I got some 15-minute over here. Yeah. I ain't got much of it left. I got a little bit left here. And then I need to go get some clamps. I'll be right back. See if this thing even has any softness to it anymore. Uh-oh. This stuff looks like garbage. Yep, it is. Maybe it's just hard at the top. No. I don't think I got 15 minutes left. Let me look. I might have to use 30. Yeah. Well, that kind of blows. I only got 30-minute epoxy. We can work around it. Try to get you in the view here. Okay. So anyways, here's a little tip for you. I get you real close here so you can maybe see the grain structure this grain is running this way. And that's the way you want to attach it. You do not want to attach it this way, because when you put a screw down in here, it'll split. This will give you your grain structure correct. I try to keep that, say that every time I do that. That is utter important, because then you're going back and you're going to have to cut out wood and replace it. So we'll put a liberal amount on that. And I don't know, we'll probably go about there. Okay. Okay. I try to make them as parallel as I can. I could get a tape measure out and tape measure them, but it's not that critical. The other thing, if you're not doing this to like a Wonder or whatever, you're doing it to another plane, you also got to determine on how thick your sheeting is. And if you have any sheeting, because if you guys haven't caught the wing build on the Sig Wonder there, the that wing does not get sheeting, so you got to, if you're doing dual aileron servo mods, you need to sink it down into the rib if you have no sheeting. 16th inch ply has been plenty strong enough to hold servos into a wing. Try to get a clamp one here. There we go. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go ahead and, hate to waste epoxy, so I'll throw some epoxy on our plywood joints here. Can't hurt. Yeah, exactly. Longer working time, and yeah, you can keep an eye on it because things tend to settle, and you can keep them pretty straight. So, anyways, I think we're done with the back side, and so I think I'll go ahead and start adding. And I went ahead and off camera and pre-cut some balls of wood, just like I did last week when I sheeted the top. Then we're going to try to determine where we want the splice at, and ideally, if I can see where it's at, our splice is down here. We'll go to the other side. I don't know that it matters a whole lot, but we'll call it good enough there. Go put the splice on the other wing panel for the bottom. I don't know if that would create a weak joint or not. And I'm just going to leave, I'm splitting the rib here, so that way I got a ledge on each side of the rib. Like that. And then Dave said something last week on last video's live about putting a weight down, and so we use my marking stick for covering to lay down on here so it lays flat. Okay. I'm just trying to work as fast as I can so none of this glue dries before I get a chance to get It does seem to work a lot better. Yeah. Okay. Ink pen. I'm gonna make sure I got a little bit of excess over here on this end. That way you don't want to cut things exact, because that way, even though you got a long enough chunk here to sheet it. Now this balsa wood, I don't know if you noticed, I cut it, the main part out of here, just because it was lighter. This sheet here has, you can tell how discolored it is over the, it feels heavy. I'm glad we're not using this for the leading edge sheeting. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to get this thing, I want to get the wing, if I could think, pinned down to the billing table, because it is developing a little bit of a warp to it. It ain't bad, and it's very fixable at this point. So I'm going to pin the leading edge down, because I know it's straight. And then I'm going to go into these areas where I left the web sheeting at, and I'm going to throw a pin in each one of these. That one's garbage. I'll go all over it. If you're sheeting your wing and you got a warp in it, when you sheet it, you'll sheet the warp right into the wing. Right now, the wing is still flexible enough that if you pin it flat, when the glue dries, it'll be flat. Of course, I got to work around all these clamps here. Okay. So the tricky part with the bottom is going to be the standoffs that we put in for the leading edge to or for the wing to grab into the wing. So we're going to have to do it in multiple pieces here. So I'll do the big ones first. The big long stretches here. And I'm just going to mark these so that way I got a little bit of overhang on the wingtip there. Now I'm just going to do the same thing I did last weekend. I'm just going to glue it to the leading edge here. And then I'll start soaking it down with my Windex here. This is not Windex from like the store. My wife buys this stuff, and I know I got some questions on it last week about what I'm using here. And it's not the soap that's doing anything; it's the ammonia. So as long as you buy some Windex that has ammonia in it, I think my wife gets these packets from Grove, and they're she dumps it in a bottle and then puts water in it, and that's how, because they're little concentrated amounts. And this is all I've used this for years now um, to do sheeting and stuff like that. You can sit there and look at that thing; it's already curling down. So what the ammonia does is it just softens the wood up. You can see it. I mean, look at that. It's just, I'm not doing nothing. That's still neat to watch. The only downfall to doing this method, it works fast, but you got to sit here and wait for it to dry before you can do anything with it. I mean, you can't sand it. You can't, with it being damp and that. And so yeah, I mean that's see, a couple minutes and it's ready to go. So we'll go ahead and peel this up a little bit here, and we will start putting some glue on the ribs. You're not going to be able to see me do this, but I'm just getting down there as far deep as I can and getting some glue, and it'll follow the path of the rib a little bit so you can get her nice and glued down. Could be using the Boss USA things to get further reach if you wanted to. I just thought of that now. Okay. We'll go ahead and hold her down with the water. I don't know why, but the glue dries extremely quickly here. And you really don't need to hold it for very long. Now, if you have time and you have a lot of compound curves to go around, like let's say like a turtle deck area where you want to it's a sharp curve or whatever, like on a, I don't know, like the cauldron back there. I haven't done it yet, but I got to fill those gaps in. You can soak your wood in water. That usually takes several hours to do, though. We'll go ahead. We're going to work ourselves from wingtip to wingtip here and working around all this stuff. And that way we're not kind of doing a balanced thing. It's kind of like putting a head on, a car. You wouldn't tighten all the bolts and stuff. But push too hard. Any questions about that? It's coming out real nice. Yeah. A couple more spritz here, and you don't need a lot. See, it's still a little hard in the middle there, but it's getting there. Well, this one might take a little bit more. Let that soak in there for a couple minutes. Might actually have curved a little too much there right here, not enough there. That's all right. Let's get, I wonder if it's still good from last week. Look at that. It is. I want to do a little changing on that, but we'll go and work down here. These are those glue pipettes. And then I made the hole just a little too big on that one that I cut there, so I'm going to go a little closer there. That's a lot better than the last one. Can't hardly see the hole in there. Might as well use the rest of this up. It's going to take a while to fill because the hole's so small. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. I got a little ambitious with that glue pipette last weekend and cut just a little too much off the end, and had a big old hole in the end. Oh. Stay down. I can hear it popping up. Boss USA is where I got them from. I don't know if you could get them anywhere else or not. I haven't seen them anywhere else. They sent those with the 2 builds and 2 weekend videos, and I was surprised to see them. I don't even know how much they are. Product number 718. Okay, pretty happy with that. Seems like it's pretty well adhered down. So, anyways, I think we used that whole sheet there. I did cut another one out. And then here we're going to cut I'm going to mark it on one side here. I'm literally going in between the 2 ribs, and I am going to trust my marks more than I'm going to trust my saw or my square here, because I'm sure those ribs aren't perfectly aligned. Yeah, no problem. Okay. See how she fits. I think I can handle that. Oh, do they? Cool. I need to go to Hobby Lobby. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe won't have to work next. Well, it's Christmas next weekend. No, Christmas is in 2 weeks. All right. Yeah. Yeah, 15th. So we got 10 days. You guys excited for Christmas? Is been good this year? Santa gonna bring you a new kit, or maybe a new ARF? Yeah, I like Boss USA. Don't get me wrong, but they can be expensive. I ordered what did I order? I ordered 3 sheets of 6-inch wide, 48-inch long plywood, a sheet of 16th, a sheet of 1/8, and a sheet of 1/4. And I ordered 3 yards of fiberglass. Where's that? It's sitting there. 3 yards of half ounce or 3/4 ounce fiberglass for the cauldron. And then I got these, that's why I was getting rid of the dust here. And I ordered 4 of these guys. I thought these were neat. Boss USA servo tray mounts. They were $7 a piece for these things. And look how big, I'm not complaining, but look how big that plate is. I mean, this thing is, it's huge. And I mean, I know they got big planes there, but you know, if a guy wanted to use that on a 40 size, that's to me, that's way too big. And all that was what was it, $180 some shipped to my door. Oh, and 2 bottles of glue. I got a 2 ounce bottles of glue, thick and medium. And I imagine it probably cost $20 to ship it all from Wisconsin. So yeah. All right, I am going to glue this other piece on here and get it soaking. Oh, yay! I can't wait to hear what you found, what made that thing so tail heavy. Tom here has a classic Habaco 60 trainer that has trained more people to fly out at his flying field than I care to even mention. Heck, I've flown that plane. It's got an LA 65 on it that just won't quit. And if I remember the story, Craig, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but he had gotten it out of hibernation to fly it last year, and went to go fly it, and the thing was just ungodly tail heavy. So it covering was falling apart on it and stuff. I mean, that thing's been through trees and fences, and yeah. Okay. Pretty happy with the way that's fitting. Okay. That one's fitting nice too, so go ahead and glue it down, and all we got left is the center piece here. Okay. The other thing I don't think I mentioned either is like the sheeting will have a natural bend. You can in opposite ways there. It's not going to be too happy. You can see kind of popping up and down. So you pick your sheeting. If it's got a natural bend to it from the curing process and that, put this down because you've already got a head start on molding it around whatever you're trying to mold it around or form it around. And also, you want to pick. Now you can use your heavy stock and heavy sheets like that if you want to do sheeting and stuff like that with it. But realize that it's going to be a lot longer process. Probably not much longer, but it's going to take a little bit more time to get things to bend the way they should. Yep, exactly. Yeah, you do. Come on. Cut some wood. Get out there and do something. 4 eyes. Yeah, I haven't made my Dubro order for the winter yet, just because of the shipping. I haven't been able to make a order big enough to get the free shipping and stuff on there. All right, guys, you're just looking at nothing there. There we go. You can see where I'm at now. I'm in the center. Okay. But yeah, I usually do I usually try to order enough stock to last me for a year. I think it's been 7, 8 months since I've made a order to do grow. For my personal inventory, anyways. Really haven't needed that much stuff. Need to go to a swap meet here pretty soon. Now we're just a little tight in here, so I'm gonna just put a blade down through here and trim it off, and kind of like a sanding action here. There we go. Now we're gonna have. What am I gonna do with these gaps in here? Well, in between the sheeting, I'm gonna fill those in with just some light spackle. Not really a critical joint, and it's on the bottom, so you're not really gonna see it. So that's gonna be the part of the finishing process or whatever. I'm still trying to determine whether or not I am going to cover all this or cover it with new cover. I really like that metallic. What is it? Oh. Talk to Tom. He's got one of those. Those are sweet flying airplanes. RV4. Is that the 60 size? I think Tom's has got a 91 OS or Sato in it. I think it's an OS. Okay. I need a little bit more glue. 54. Oh, okay. Yeah, 91. Okay. Yeah. Yep. I saw all that thing fly, and it looked like it was just a really nice flying airplane. All right, there we go. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, it is. It's good. I know they were a pretty popular plane back in the day. Um, yeah, I think this is where we're going to leave this one off at. We got that doesn't look like a lot got done, but a lot got done. I think what I'm going to do is during the week this week, we could take a vote or a poll or whatever. There's three of you. Yeah, yeah, they're popular. The Vans RV. Yeah. Um, but I think what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to go ahead and cut the fuse parts out, and then I'll go ahead and get the. I'm going to do the same thing I did to the Airlon servos here, and those are actually already dry. Look at that. Now they're not cured yet, but they're dry. Yeah. Oh yeah. See the glue on the cups a little tacky up, but we'll let those things dry. Anyway, so what I think how we're going to progress with this is I will I'm gonna let this dry on the table overnight since it's wet and we're holding it down nice and firm, straight. There's nothing picking up or nothing on it. And I'll let all that sheeting dry. It might have been how we developed the warp because I picked it up too soon on doing the top side. But this is fine now. Let that dry nice and good. And so I will. I'm going to do some spruce. I'll do some spruce in the middle here for tie downs, and then we'll make a plywood. This whole center section here will be a hatch, and we'll sheet the center sections here. Yeah, and that'll give us access to our receiver and battery area. And then so next week we will pick up where we left off here, and we'll get cap strips on and make our plywood plates because we'll have to cap strip around those. You got to go when you do your plywood plates here. Let me get you in here. So our plywood plate's going to be 3 inches long. Okay. Well, we're going to have here and a gap here, so we'll try it. We'll cap strip from here to here, and then stop. Well, there's nothing to hold the covering on between here and here, so we'll probably put a strip here and a strip across here, and that'll frame the the plywood mount down. Okay, we'll go on the cap strip. We'll run it. How about we do this? We'll run it off to this side of the rib and then off to this side of the ribs like we kind of did on the wingtips. And then I can run a cap strip across here and a cap strip across here. We'll make the plywood plate fit in the middle of that, and that'll be where the servo will mount to from underneath. So I guess we'll have to see how we get on with that, and then see if we can get maybe started probably not going to get started on a few, so that's probably going to take a couple hours. So, anyways, guys, I want to thank you guys for stopping in today and chatting. It's always a blast when we get a lot of people in here, and I think we were up to 7 at some point in time. So, anyways, thanks guys very much, and we'll see you next Sunday at 3 o'clock, and we'll do another live stream. So, talk to you later. Bye.